Binansagan ng Pilipinas bilang Asia's rising tiger dahil sa patuloy na paglago ng ating ekonomiya, bagay na nakakuha ng atensyon ng mga foreign investors upang lalo pang mamuhunan sa ating bansa. At ang naturang achievement na ito ay lalo pang nagpalakas ng loob ng ating mga businessmen upang pag-igihin pa ang kanilang efforts para sa patuloy na pag-unlad ng Pilipinas. At ngayong umaga ay sasaksihan po natin ang isa na namang hakbangin upang patatagin pang lalo ang matibay na ekonomiya ng ating bansa. Magandang araw Pilipinas, ako po si Cathy San Gabriel mula dito sa Manila Hotel. Inihahatid sa inyo ang 40th Philippine Business Conference and Exposition. At makakasama po ang natin sa coverage na ito ang buong puwersa ng RTVM, PTV, Radyo ng Bayan at IBC. At inaasahan po na magiging panauhing pandangal ng 40th Philippine Business Conference and Expo si Pangulong Benigno S. Aquino III na inaantabayanan po natin ang pagdating anumang sandali para magbigay po ng kanyang talumpati. Kanya makakasama sa event na ito si DTI Secretary Gregory Domingo at ilang pang mga miyembro ng gabinete, gayon din ang maraming mga businessmen dito po sa ating bansa. Ngunit bago po magbigay ng talumpati ang kanyang Pangulo ay sisimulan ni 4th PBC Chairman George T. Barcelon ang concluding plenary. Kanya pong ipipresenta ang 40th PBC resolutions. Susundan ito ng President's Report na pangungunahan ng Presidente ng Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry na si Mr. Alfredo Yao. Ang talumpati ng Pangulo ang magwawakas ng 40th Philippine Business Conference and Expo. Kanina po ay nagsimula ang programa at nagbigay po o nagkaroon ng awarding ceremony kung saan kinabibilangan po ito ng testimonial for the 39th PBC Chairman, Media Scholarship Award, AMYIP Awards, Excellence in Economy and Ecology Awards, Most Business-Friendly LGU Award at Most Outstanding Chamber Award. Ang Philippine Business Conference and Expo o PBC ay taon-taon pong dinadaluhan ng malalaking mga business companies at businessmen ng Pilipinas. Ito po ang sinasabing pinakamalaking business conference sa bansa na inorganisa ng isa sa mga kilalang business organizations dito sa ating bansa. Ito ang Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry o PCCI. Ito po ay 3 araw na event na nagsimula noong Miyerkules, October 22. At paano nga ba nagsimula itong PBC o Philippine Business Conference and Expo? Alamin po natin yan sa ating panayam sa chairman ng 40th PBC na si Ginoong George T. Barcelon. Mr. Barcelon, ito na po ang ika-4 na pong Philippine Business Conference and Expo. Paano po ito sinimulan?
Ang Philippine Business Conference, ito ang pinaka-main business community get-together. Pinag-usapan namin mga issues that are pressing, especially to the small, medium, and the micro. So, ang attendance namin ngayon is very good because there are really pressing matters that is facing their country, economically, on economic issues. 40th, we have been holding this every year. So, it so happened this is the 40th.
So, ano po yung mga ina-expect nating matalakay sa komperensya ngayon?
Kanina sinabi ko yung mga issues na pressing, no? Katulad na itong port congestion natin, yung issue ng power, okay? At saka issue sa how we can sustain the economic growth. Kasi in the past couple of years, ang Pilipinas ang sikat sa ASEAN. We have the highest growth. So we hope that through more partnering with the government, we can sustain the growth.
How important is partnering with the government in sustaining economic growth and also in benefiting small and medium enterprises?
The small and medium, in many aspects, requires government support. In the sense, on the financing side, especially in the infrastructure. If you talk about the agri-sector, they need farm-to-market roads. So these are issues that I think definitely government is addressing. Ang importante ngayon is the timeline. We want some of this to be addressed with a timeline so that maasahan natin.
Meron din po kayong programa na Buy Pinoy. Ano po ito?
Yung Buy Pinoy, this has been one of our theme. If you look at our theme, Proudly Pinoy. Kasi ang feeling natin na we should also give credence to Philippine-made products. We are exporting a lot of items, and which is the skill and the creativity of the Filipino workers. So we are pushing for this Buy Pinoy in order to help the small and medium businesses for them to have a bigger market access.
Maraming salamat po sa inyo, Ginoong George Barcelon, ang chairman ng 40th PBC.
I request everyone to please be seated.
Ang 40th Philippine Business Conference and Expo ay sumentro ngayong taon sa temang Proudly Pinoy Partnering Towards Sustained Goals. Ito rin ang sentro sa promotion ng Philippine-made products para mapag-ibayo pa ang local manufacturing sa ating bansa at para makatulong sa inclusive growth objective ng ating pamahalaan. Layo nitong makapagsagawa ng roadmap at mga estratehiya upang mas mapakilala pa ang Philippine industries sa Southeast Asian markets, makilala sa pandaigdigang merkado at higit sa lahat ay makakuha ng maraming investments para sa Pilipinas. Ilan sa mga estratehiyang nabuo dito sa nasabing conference ay ang Buy Pinoy. Sa estratehiyang ito ay matutulungan ng mga local enterprises para makipagsabayan sa ang mga Philippine-made products sa mga kapitbahay natin mula po sa Southeast Asian countries dahil nga po nalalapit na ang ASEAN integration. Ang Buy Pinoy ay siyang nakatuon para gawing export quality ang lahat ng mga produktong gawa Pilipinas. Bukod dito, ang 40th PBC ay tinitingnan ang posibilidad ng paggawa ng mas marami pang public-private partnership programs na magtutulak sa ating pamahalaan at pribadong sektor sa paggawa ng infrastruktura na magpapabilis sa paglago ng ating ekonomiya. Ilan sa mga infrastruktura ay ang mga tulay, mga daan, power plants, ospital, transportation, tourism infrastructure, site development, schoolhouses, housing, at marami pang iba. At paano nga ba nag-umpisa itong ating 40th PBC at ano nga ba ang mga natalakay dito sa komperensyang ito? Alamin po natin yan sa ating naging pakikipag-usap sa Vice President for Corporate Social Responsibility ng PCCI na si Ms. Bing Limhoco. Ms. Limhoco, ano po ang PCCI at bakit po kayo nag-organisa ng ganitong klaseng event?
Ito pong, ang PCCI po ay ang Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Ito pong Philippine Business Conference ay annually. Because kamukha ngayon, ano yung mga issues natin? Siyempre, we are now preparing for the ASEAN economic integration. So this event is very important because all the chambers of about 125 chapters all over the Philippines are now present here. So we would like them to hear directly from the government agencies what is upcoming, because we really have to prepare together para dito sa AEC. And it's going to take effect already next year. And I'm very happy to say many of them are really gearing up to be able to, integrate.
And how will the ASEAN integration affect businesses po in our country?
For us, we believe, because we will be selling to more than 600 million ASEAN, we will definitely grow. But we must grow the right way. If we are not ready, what will happen? That's why we have this Philippine Business Conference. So we can disperse to all the chapters about this big AEC coming up.
Ms. Limhoco, mahalaga po sa ASEAN integration yung competitiveness po ng mga produkto. How do we make our products more globally competitive?
Okay, marami po tayong mga consultants ngayon. Paano natin dadalhin itong mga produkto natin? Because dapat globally competitive tayo, because free flow of services and all those. So, if they are coming sa atin, dapat tayo ay lalabas. So, unahan natin sila.
And malaki nga pong evento. How was the preparation, ma'am? Paano po kino-coordinate? Kasi meron pong expo, may conference, and this has been going on for several days.
Actually, the preparation for this has been ongoing since early part of this year. Tapos we got the best event organizer also. You can see our screen, it has like 6 screens, digital, talagang ahead of its time.
And this is our last day, ma'am, of the conference and expo. What have we achieved so far?
The networking did very well. The networking is there were about 60 from the US that came here, and also about 20 from Indonesia. This means there are really so many interests to come to the Philippines now, because we are now the new tiger economy, and those from the US and other countries would like to invest here.
Maraming salamat po, Ms. Bing Lim Hoco, ang Vice President for Corporate Social Responsibility ng PCCI. At narinig po natin ang ating panayam kay Ms. Bing Lim Hoco, ang Vice President ng Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Ito pong PBC o Philippine Business Conference and Expo ay siya pong taon-taon na inorganisa ng PCCI, at ito na nga po ang ika-4 na pong beses na sila ay nagsagawa ng ganitong klaseng komperensya. Pag nakikita nyo po, nandito po kami ngayon sa Manila Hotel Fiesta Pavilion. Dito po sa loob ay nandito po ang iba't ibang mga representante, mga kinatawan ng iba't ibang mga businesses, gayon din ng ibang mga LGU. Ngunit sa labas po ay marami pong mga booth showcasing Filipino products. This is in connection with the theme for this year, which is Buy Pinoy. At isa nga po yan sa mga naging objective ng PBC, ng 40th PBC, ang pagbutihin pa ang kalidad ng mga produktong Pinoy para maging mas competitive sa pandaigdigang merkado, dahil na nga po sa nalalapit na ASEAN integration, ASEAN economic integration na mag-uumpisa po sa susunod na taon. Mahigit 1,500 po ang nandito sa ngayon para saksihan ang pagdalo ng Pangulong Benigno S. Aquino III na siyang panauhing pandangal dito. Kanina po ay nagkaroon ng isang programa kung saan ipinisenta po yung iba't ibang mga awards na ibinigay ng PCCI sa mga kasapi nito. At gayon din ay pagdating ng Pangulo, inaasahan na ipipresenta sa kanila itong mga concerns ng business sector patungkol po sa pagnenegosyo sa ating bansa. Malaki pong bagay sa loob ng 4 na taon ang mga nakamit na ng ating bansa pagdating po sa pamumuhunan at sa aspetong pang-ekonomiya. Alam po natin na nitong mga nakaraang buwan at nakaraang taon ay sari-saring ratings upgrade po ang natanggap ng Pilipinas mula sa iba't ibang credit rating agencies, na siya pong nagpapabuti pa sa investor confidence ng mga foreign investors dito sa ating bansa. At yung po nakita nyo kanina sa inyong mga TV screens, mga pinuno po yan ng PCCI na inaantabayanan ang pagdating ng Pangulong Benigno S. Aquino III dito sa Manila Hotel para nga po magbigay ng kanyang talumpati sa harap ng mahigit 1,000 mga mamumuhunan dito sa ating bansa. At kanina po nakita natin si Ginoong Miguel Varela, nandun din po sa lobby I believe si Secretary Purisima para salubungin po ang Pangulong Aquino, at kasama rin po ng Pangulo na dadalo ngayong araw na ito dito ay si DTI Secretary Gregory Domingo. At dumating na po si Pangulong Aquino, sinalubong po siya ng mga opisyal ng PCCI at tutungo po siya dito sa Fiesta Pavilion ng Manila Hotel. Ang nakikita niyo po ay live video mula po sa labas yan, sa may lobby ng Manila Hotel, kung saan kasalukuyan pong iginaganap ang closing ceremonies ng 40th Philippine Business Conference and Expo. Kami po ay napapanood ninyo live sa Telebisyon ng Bayan, maging sa aming web streaming na www.rtvm.gov.ph at www.ptv.ph. At inaantabayanan na nga po dito ang pagdating ng Pangulong Aquino. Dito po ay inaasahan natin na magkakaroon ng pagpresenta sa kanya ng 40th PBC document kung saan nakasaad po
Announcing the arrival of the President
ang
of the Republic
mga
of the
concerns na kinakaharap ng business sector sa Pilipinas. Tunghayan po natin ang closing ceremonies ng Philippine Business Conference and Expo 2014.
You may now take your seats. May I now call on Attorney Miguel Varela, Chairman of the PCCI, for the welcome remarks.
His Excellency, President Benigno S. Aquino III, Secretary Cesar Purisima, President Yao, Chairman George Barcelon, other distinguished Mr. Basilio Yap, Chairman of Manila Bulletin, other distinguished personalities in the presidential table, colleagues in the business community, and the PCCI board, the distinguished leaders of the various chambers of commerce nationwide, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It is my honor to welcome you all to the conclusion of the 40th Philippine Business Conference. I would like to take this opportunity on behalf of PCCI, not only to thank His Excellency, who graciously accepted to be the keynote speaker on this finale of the 40th Philippine Business Conference, but also to congratulate our indefatigable President for receiving the Bintang Republic Indonesia, Adipuna, or the Star of the Republic of Indonesia, the highest honor from the Indonesian government in the 7th Bali Democracy Forum, and for the successful outcome of his four-nation European trips and in the United States. Sealing investments worth $2.38 billion is a no mean feat. Indeed, the country's matuwid na daan, complemented by strong public and private partnership, is gaining ground, paving us towards a more masaganang daan that is sustainable and inclusive. Indeed, the fever of renewed faith in the economy is such that investments are now pouring in, and investors, including diaspora entrepreneurs or Filipinos who have established themselves in other countries, are now exploring the potentials in the country. Mr. President, I'm proud to acknowledge here the presence of a 53-strong delegation from the Federation of Filipino-American Chambers of Commerce. They're all there. As we move forward and meet the challenges of a more integrated regional and global economy, the PCCI affirms its commitment of support and unrelenting participation to your leadership and government, Mr. President, so that together we will be able to sustain the sweet spot we are currently in. It is the responsibility of the PCCI, however, as the country's leading business organization, to spearhead necessary advocacies and initiatives that will better the overall economic climate of the Philippines. Mabuhay, Mr. President. Mabuhay kayong lahat. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you, Attorney Varela. To deliver a brief message, may I now call on Dr. Alfonso C., President of the Federation of Filipino-Chinese Chamber of Commerce and Industry.
Your Excellency, Benigno S. Aquino III, Honorable Secretary Cesar Furisima, Mr. Alfredo Yao, PCCI President, Mr. Attorney Mike Varela, PCCI Chairman, Mr. Francis Chua, PCCI Chairman Emeritus, Mr. George Barcelon, 40th PBC Chairman, distinguished guests, fellow workers of the Federations, friends, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. On behalf of the Federation of Filipino-Chinese Chamber of Commerce and Industry Incorporated, I'm pleased to extend our warmest greeting to Your Excellency, President Aquino, the guests, and the participants of the 40th Philippine Business Conference. The Federation is privileged to host this luncheon and be part of this important gathering of the country's top business leaders. Proudly Pinoy, partnering towards sustained growth, the theme of this year's conference. Fitting show the business sector optimism and unity as we look at the ways to strengthening industries, improve the business environments, and help our country meet its challenges. Proudly Pinoy, our federation since 2001 has taken up the Buy Pinoy campaign to achieve growth. Much so today, we are promoting our Filipino products in preparation for the ASEAN integration next year. These present opportunities for Filipino businesses to venture in a wider ASEAN market. Your Excellency, we are one with you in a task of ensuring sustained growth for our nations and people. So we will emerge stronger and ready to compete in the global economic arena. Let me take this opportunity to thank Your Excellency for taking prompt action on the urgent appeal of the business community to address the port congestion problem that heavily affect business operation and economic activities months ago. We hope the situation in the international port will be better soonest because there are still problems which maybe can be addressed by expanding our international port authority in Manila, enforcing of traffic rules, and improvement of road and transportation, maybe through new railroad system within Metro Manila and other infrastructures. Working together, we now feel the result of our concentrated efforts. As we conclude this 40th PBC, we said with confidence that our country faces better days ahead because today, we see a more progressive and reformed Philippines. Mabuhay ang Pangulo Benigno Aquino III, mabuhay ang Philippine Business Conference, mabuhay po tayong lahat. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. C. Thank you, Dr. C. May I now call on Dr. Jaime Laya, Chairman and President, Philtrust Bank.
His Excellency, President Benigno S. Aquino III, the Secretary of Finance, Secretary Purisima, Excellencies of the Diplomatic Corps, PCCI President Ambassador Alfredo M. Yao and Chairman Miguel Varela, 40th PBC Chairman George Barcelon, the directors, officers, and members of the Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Board of Directors and officers of Philtrust Bank, Manila Hotel, Manila Bulletin, Centro Escolar University, I have the great honor to extend to you our most cordial greetings on the occasion of this concluding plenary session with His Excellency the President. The Philippines is already considered investment grade by international rating agencies, an achievement that is strongly supported by this year's Philippine Business Conference and Exposition theme, One Global Filipino, Proudly Pinoy, Partnering Towards Sustained Growth. This is a crucial and timely topic that addresses the many opportunities and challenges still before the Philippine public and private sectors. PhilTrust Bank and its sister companies are one with PCCI in highlighting the competitiveness of local industries and quality of Philippine-made products and services. We join you in promoting the Philippine brand and creating the country's niches and value additions in the ASEAN and global value chains, in encouraging the origination of products and services that can meet regional and global demands and standards. Only in doing so can the Philippines compete vigorously in the global economy and build on past achievements, thereby ensuring a better life for all Filipinos. We are honored and privileged to be part of the hosting of this modest gathering and to have the opportunity of assuring you of our banks and sister companies' continuing high esteem and admiration for your work, and to re-emphasize our bank's commitment to join hands with PCCI in working together for a prosperous and strong republic. Welcome and mabuhay.
Thank you, Dr. Laya. To present the 40th Philippine Business Conference resolutions, please welcome the Chairman of the 40th PBC&E, Mr. George T. Barcelon. He will present the resolutions together with PCCI President Fred Yao and PCCI Chairman Mike Varela.
Excellency President Benigno Simeon Aquino III, Honorable Secretary of Finance, Cesar Purisima, Mr. Basilio Yap, Chairman of Manila Hotel, delegates to the 40th Philippine Business Conference, delegates from the Federation of the Philippine American Chamber of Commerce, led by Mr. Gus Mercado, and Consul Ethel Mercado, members of the Philippine community. I am pleased to hand over to His Excellency the 40th Philippine Business Conference resolution. Your Excellency, these resolutions are a product of PCCI's consultation with our national network of businessmen from 107 local chambers, 130 industry associations, 30 bilateral trade councils, 1,500 direct members, friends and allies from the joint foreign chambers, and PCCI standing committees. We have specifically crafted this policy recommendations with aim of making our local industries truly competitive. They encompass roadmaps that are expected to strategically position Philippine industries and enterprises to seize the ASEAN market, gain a foothold in the global market, and capture investments coming into this region. On behalf of the delegates of the 40th Philippine Business Conference, Mr. President, I am pleased to submit to you the product of our 2 days conference, the 40th Philippine Business Conference resolutions. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you, Chairman Barcelon, for your presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, to give the President's report for 2014, please join me in welcoming Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry President, Mr. Alfredo M. Yao.
His Excellency Benigno Simeon Aquino III, President of the Republic of the Philippines, Secretary Cesar Purisima, Department of Finance, Dr. Jaime Laya, President Chairman of PhilTrust, Dr. Alfonso C., President of Federation of Filipino-Chinese Chamber of Commerce and Industries, Basilio Yap, the Chairman of the Emilio Yap Group, members of the diplomatic community, members of PCCI Board, colleagues in the Chamber movement, honored guests, delegate of the 40th Philippine Business Conference, ladies and gentlemen, a pleasant morning to all of us. On behalf of our 35,000-strong membership base of industries captains, chamber leaders, trade association, business council, and small and medium entrepreneurs all over the country, we would like to thank His Excellency for his transformative governance anchored on the integrity pathway or matuwid na daan. Our gathering here today is a strong testament to how His Excellency's government has worked so hard to render our beloved nation a reputation as a prime investment destination on the back of its strong macroeconomic fundamentals and impressive growth story. Mahal naming Pangulo, kami pong mga boss nyo ang magpapatunay na ang inaasam-asam nating pag-unlad sa atin ay amin nang nararamdaman. Behind the remarkable GDP figures, the impressive credit and competitiveness ranking upgrades, the disciplined fiscal and monetary policies, and the serious anti-corruption drive of your administration, most importantly, you reaffirm the Filipino spirit that together we can do great things. You have reawakened the spirit of hope among us that it is possible to attain progress even if you don't have a political connection, that if one is willing to work hard, it doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, or what you look like. You can progress in life if you work hard for your dreams. Today marked the 297th day of my presidency of PCCI. The job of holding the most prestigious and largest organization of businessmen all over the country should make the faint-hearted lurch and be subdued by the enormous challenges that go along with it. But armed only by the drive to get things done, the willingness to learn and heed advice from our industry's captains, and the passion to uplift the lives of our fellow Filipinos, we embark on a work program called Proudly Philippine Made. I personally met with individual industries associations to lay down a roadmap that harnesses the natural creativity, resourcefulness, and innovative spirit of Filipino craftsmanship. We work on setting the parameters to make Filipino product not only competitive, but recognized of the highest standard, not only in terms of quality, but of safety as well, making Filipinos proud to be identified with their product. Under the Proudly Philippine-Made banner, the business community worked together with His Excellency's government toward providing small and medium enterprises with access to technology, common services facilities, financing, and other support to infuse not only a competitiveness mindset among them, but to provide them with sustenance to help them find more niches for their further participation in the value and supply chains and their eventual expansion, upgrade, and meaningful participation in the forthcoming ASEAN integration. We have worked as well on the required regulatory, legislative, and policy recommendation to address the high cost of doing business, utilities, logistics, and infrastructure insufficiency and backlogs that have hampered the growth, expansion, and inclusivity of our economy. Specifically, Mr. President, we channeled our collective energies and focused our synergies on the following: pushing for the reform-oriented legislation such as the Competition Law and Custom Modernization and Tariff Act to enhance business competitiveness, enunciating key energy and power objectives in terms of supply reliability and quality, rate tariff, competitiveness, and sustainability to address the looming energy situation in the country. Working with Tesla, DepEd, and CHED on producing graduates that meet industry's demand and standards. Consulting industries association to come up with roadmap toward the ASEAN integration. Discussing with our partner countries and allies both within and outside Asia to consider the Philippines as the trade, investment, and manufacturing hub in the ASEAN 600 million market, thereby fully realizing the benefits of ASEAN integration. Because the government cannot mandate it due to international treaties and obligations, we in the private sector led a campaign appealing to the conscience of Filipinos to buy Philippine-made products to help our local producer become more viable and competitive with the rest of other ASEAN products. Mr. President, we understand the enormity of the task that lies ahead. We know the challenges that tomorrow will bring are the legacies of our lifetime. Finally, securing peace in Mindanao, the wars on poverty and equality, winning the global wars against terrorism and climate change, among others, but with your unbridled support to PCCI, we are confident that together we can chart an agenda for inclusive growth, one that sets forth a level playing field where investors, entrepreneurs, employers, workers, and consumers are able to join the benefit of a rebirthed Philippine economy. Mahal namin Pangulo, kami pong mga boss niyo sa PCCI ay patuloy na susuporta sa inyo sa ating sama-samang pagtahak sa tuwid na daan at sa patuloy na pag-unlad ng ating bansang Pilipinas. Maraming salamat po at mabuhay po tayong lahat.
Thank you, President Yao. And now, to introduce our guest of honor and keynote speaker, please welcome the Honorable Cesar V. Purisima, Secretary, Department of Finance.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the Republic of the Philippines, His Excellency Benigno S. Aquino III.
Thank you. Please sit down. Your Excellencies of the Diplomatic Corps, Secretary Cesar Purisima, Mr. Alfredo Yao, President of the Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Attorney Mike Varela, Chairman of the PCCI, Mr. George Barcelon, Chairman of the 40th Philippine Business Conference and Expo, Mr. Seri Ortiz Luis, Tito Pardo, Mr. Basilio Yap, Dr. Alfonso C., Mr. Antonio Lopa, Dr. Francis Chua, awardees of the 40th Philippine Business Conference and Expo, members of the Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry, members of the Federation of Filipino-American Chambers of Commerce, local government officials present, fellow workers in government, and ladies and gentlemen, Tony Goson, one and all, good morning. Just a couple of days ago, I presided over a small ceremony in Malacanang involving the heads of various government departments and agencies. It was an event where we concretized our commitment to redouble our efforts in the so-called last 2 minutes of our term towards maximizing our service to the public, which of course includes business and industry. I thought it might interest you to know this, since they have signed their contracts. The members of my cabinet are now duty-bound to be even more receptive to all of you. Thus, please feel free to call them anytime. I believe that the past 4 years and 3 months have shown you the sincerity and, more importantly, the results of our commitment to turn the tide in the Philippines. Reforms in key systems and processes have led to leaks being plugged and resources being maximized. more contractors and investors are not only registering interest in infrastructure projects, but are competing to build what we need. The Philippines is ranked investment grade and continues to climb global competitiveness rankings. Our economy remains strong, with growth at 6.4% in the second quarter of this year. Even more good news, the first half of 2014 attracted net foreign direct investment of $3.57 billion, almost 80% higher than the FDI recorded in the same period in 2013. Manufacturing has rebounded with 8.8% growth in the first half of 2014, and exports are up. All our successes reaffirm these basic truths. Integrity works, reform works, and the Philippines works. Today, the Philippine brand has recaptured the attention of the world. I say this recognizing full well that the private sector has played an invaluable role in the resurgence of the Philippines. Without the innovation it takes to nurture the growth of businesses, without your support for our reform agenda, and without your confidence in the Filipino people, we certainly would not have been able to come so far along the straight path to progress. I know we can make even greater strides as long as we're able to create deeper, more dynamic, more impactful synergies between industries and government. The resolutions that you turn over to us at every Philippine Business Conference are a good example of this. In a sense, they represent your sector's vision of building a more progressive nation. We appreciate this. In communicating to us your concerns and advocacies, you are helping to pinpoint areas that can be improved so that we can sooner achieve our goal of inclusive growth. In fact, I managed to read through the resolutions from this year's conference. Let me be the first to say that we are in agreement with your concerns. This is not the first time we have heard about these matters, and I can assure you that practically all aspects of your resolutions are already being addressed by government. Perhaps you will allow me to clarify the issues surrounding two of your proposals. First, on the formulation of an integrated and sustainable energy and power development roadmap, the efforts to reform the power industry as embodied in EPIRA are still a work in progress, and this is understandable given the fact that our power industry is really a unique industry. For instance, even before groundbreaking, plants have typically sold all of their output. I know of no other business or industry that has already sold its goods that have yet to be produced in a facility that has yet to be constructed. That, of course, is not an ideal situation. Just-in-time supplies of energy do not engender more investments. Therefore, there is a need to change the business model, and that is also a work in progress. The work will be infinitely faster and more efficient with the cooperation of the business sector. There are around 3 major entities in power today who are putting their money where their mouth is and in their trust in the Filipino people and are investing in the sector even without long-term power purchase agreements or power supply contracts. These kinds of plants are what our Department of Energy calls merchant power producers, and we hope that more investors will follow suit, and we will seek ways and means to encourage more in following their track. As regards another one of your resolutions, the issue of port congestion has been a paramount concern since the truck ban. We know just how much it has affected and can affect the conduct of business in the country. This is why Cabinet Secretary Rene Almendras, other government agencies, and members of the private sector have been working hard to address the issue. One of your resolutions on the matter involves the utilization of the Subic and Batangas ports by shifting container traffic. This is a significant part of the strategy we have implemented. With the help of all concerned, Executive Order number 172, for example, designates these ports as temporary extensions of the Port of Manila in times of congestion and other emergencies. Costs were lowered to incentivize importers to shift to those ports. I understand a 90% discount has been given in terms of port charges so that these two ports are more attractive to shippers. The Philippine National Police has likewise ramped up their operations against hijackers to ensure the safe passage of cargo. On the ground, the police have intensified their presence along our roads and highways, especially in areas identified to be prone to hijacking and carnapping. And this has not been done just recently, but even as far back as about 2 years ago. The implementation of a pass card system will also allow official personnel at anti-hijacking control points along major truck routes to ensure that drivers and their deliveries of cargo are legitimate and that they reach their destinations safely. These are only some of the things we are doing to ensure greater efficiency and safety in the conduct of trade. We have already seen some improvement. For the port of Batangas alone, for instance, utilization is up to 94% this October. Compare this to its previous utilization rate of only 20 to 25% before we encouraged importers and exporters to shift to the Batangas port. Ship calls at Batangas have likewise increased from 2 to 5 ships per week. In light of this, some might say that we can cross that off the to-do list, but in reality, the situation is far more complex. Diverting traffic to Subic and Batangas is only a short-term solution. High utilization rates for both may mean that we run the risk of transferring the problem we encountered in the Port of Manila to those very ports. Right now, the more effective solution in addressing the issue of congestion is to continue operations through the weekend. In support of this, the Bureau of Customs and the port operators, among others, are open on Saturdays and Sundays to facilitate the movement of cargo. Data from the Philippine Ports Authority, however, show that there are very few individuals and organizations taking advantage of this. Only an average of 1,100 containers are moved on Sundays, which represent less than a third of the average number of containers moved on other days of the week. Government can only do so much. Our main purpose is to be an enabler. That being the case, solutions require the enabled, in this case, the private sector, to reciprocate through active participation. This is true for other concerns as well, from overcoming the rest of the challenges facing the power sector to preparing for the ASEAN economic community to enhancing the state of infrastructure across the Philippines and ushering in peace and stability in Mindanao, amongst many others. Government is implementing measures not only as a reaction to current and pressing events, but more importantly, we are strategizing for the future. In each and every endeavor, however, the private sector must likewise do its part. We are doing all this because we want those present today and the many other businesses across the country to succeed. Your growth redounds to increased livelihood opportunities for our people, which in turn redound to an empowered consumer base and a productive citizenry able to take part in spurring the growth of our economy and of our region. Make no mistake, you do play a vital role, and you have a vital role also in the progress of the Philippines and of each Filipino. So I invite you to join us in building on our already strong partnership and in redoubling our collective efforts to surpass the challenges that remain. In this manner, we will not only sustain, but speed up progress for the country. Progress that promises success not only for you, but for each and every one of our countrymen. Thank you. Good day.
Thank you, President Aquino. The President has graciously agreed for a photo opportunity with the Federation of Philippine American Chambers of Commerce. May I now call on stage the members of our distinguished delegation from the Philippine American Chambers of Commerce, Inc. for a photo opportunity with the President. May we have the first 25, please?
Inyo pa rin pong napapanood ang aming special coverage ng 40th Philippine Business Conference and Expo na ginaganap dito sa Manila Hotel, kung saan panauhing pandangal po ang Pangulong Benigno S. Aquino III. Nagbigay po ng kanyang talumpati ang Pangulo sa closing ceremonies ng 40th PBC at sa kanyang talumpati pinagmalaki ng Pangulo ang pagbabago ng ekonomiya ng ating bansa sa loob ng 4 na taon ng kanyang panunungkulan. Kabilang na dito ang mga reforma sa sistema ng pagninegosyo, mga proyektong pang-infrastruktura at ang pag-angat ng ekonomiya ng Pilipinas sa Global Competitiveness Ranking. Ang lahat ng ito ayon sa Pangulo ay ay naging posible sa pamamagitan ng maayos na ugnayan ng pamahalaan at ng pribadong sektor. Tiniyak naman ng Pangulo na sinisikap ng pamahalaan na tugunan ang mga isyong kinakaharap ng business sector. Sa aspeto ng enerhiya, siniguro ng Pangulo na bumuo na ang pamahalaan ng isang Sustainable Energy and Power Development Roadmap. Kasalukuyan din umanong nagpapatupad ng mga reforma sa sektor ng enerhiya. Ito ay upang maibsan ang epekto sa negosyo na nakaambang krisis sa enerhiya sa susunod na taon. Sa issue naman ng port congestion, tiniyak ng Pangulo na tinututukan ni Cabinet Secretary Jose Rene Almendras ang suliraning ito. Umaasa ang Pangulo na maiibsan ang port congestion sa Manila sa pagbubukas ng Subic at Batangas ports. Kasabay na ang pagpapaigting pa ng mga operasyon ng mga otoridad laban sa mga hijacker ng cargo at ang pagbibigay din ng mga incentive sa mga cargo forwarders. Dahil umano sa mga hakbang na ito ay unti-unti nang naiibsan ang pagsisikip sa mga pantalan. Ngunit marami pa umanong mga dapat tugunan ang pamahalaan ayon sa Pangulo para maibalik sa normal ang daloy ng mga produkto sa mga pantalan at hinimok ng Pangulo ang pribadong sektor na makipagtulungan sa pamahalaan sa paglutas ng isyong ito o ng suliranin ng port congestion. Marami pa umanong mga hamon na kinakaharap ang ating bansa, kabilang na dito ang paghahanda ng buong bansa para sa nalalapit na ASEAN Economic Integration, ang pagpapanatili ng kaayusan at kapayapaan sa Mindanao at ang pagpapabuti pa at pagpapanatili ng mga istruktura o infrastruktura. Kaya naman hinikayat ng Pangulo ang active participation mula sa private sector sa mga hakbangin ng pamahalaan upang mapabuti po ang kalagayan ng bansa at mapabilis ang pag-usad ng ekonomiya tungo sa isang mas maunlad na Pilipinas. At bago po yan, nagsalita rin ang ilan sa mga opisyales ng PCCI o Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry at ayon nga po sa chairman nito na si Ginoong Miguel Varela, sinabi po niya na suportado po ng mga miyembro ng PCCI ang daang matuwid at willing po sila na makipagtulungan sa pamahalaan para sa mas epektibong pagpapanatili o paggawa ng mga programang sinusulong ng pamahalaan. At bago po ako magpaalam, nais ko pong pasalamatan ang PBS RTVM, ang PTV, IBC at Radyo ng Bayan. Inyo pong natunghayan ang 40th Philippine Business Conference and Exposition. Muli ako po si Cathy San Gabriel. Maraming salamat at isang magandang araw, Pilipinas.